From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is part two of the hourly news blast we shared yesterday. In Owsley County, one of the nation's poorest, located in the rural Kentucky hills, residents struggle in an economy blighted by coal mine closures and declining tobacco crop revenues. Affordable homes are needed there, but tough to build in a region that doesn't attract large scale rental developments that federal dollars typically go toward. That's where home comes in, said Cassie Hudson, who runs Partnership Housing in Owsley, which has relied on the program to build the majority of its affordable homes for at least a dozen years. A lack of additional funding for home has already made it hard to keep up with construction costs. Hudson said the organization builds a quarter of the single family homes it used to, particularly for deeply rural places and persistent poverty counties. Local housing developers are the only way homes and new rental housing gets built, said Joshua Stewart of FAY, a coalition of Appalachian nonprofits. That's in part because investment is scant, and HOME, HOME, an acronym for a housing program through HUD, steps in when construction costs exceed what home can be sold for, a common barrier in poor areas of Appalachia. Some developers use the profits to build more affordable units. Its loss would erode those nonprofits' ability to build affordable homes in years to come, Stewart said. One of those nonprofits, Housing Development Alliance, helped Tiffany Mullins in Hazard, Kentucky, which was ravaged by floods. Mullins, a single mother of four who makes $14.30 an hour at Walmart, bought a house there thanks to home funding and moved in August. Mullen sees the program as preserving a rural way of life, recalling when folks owned homes and land with gardens. We had chickens, cows. Now you don't see much of that. In congressional budget negotiations, home is an easier target than programs such as vouchers because most people would not immediately lose their housing, said Tess Hembry, executive director of the Council of State Community Development Agencies. The effect of any reduction would instead be felt in a fizzling of new affordable housing supply. When home funding was temporarily reduced to $900 million in 2015, 10 to 15 years later, we are seeing the ramifications, Hembry said. That includes affordable units built in cities. The biggest program that funds affordable rental housing nationwide, the Low Income Housing Tax Credit, uses home grants for 12% of units, totaling 324,000 current individual units, according to soon-to-be published Urban Institute research. Trump's spending bill that Republicans passed this summer increased the low-income housing tax credit, but experts say further reducing or cutting home would make those credits less usable. It's the low-income housing tax credit plus home, usually, said Tim Thrasher, CEO of Community Action Partnership of North Alabama, which builds affordable apartments and for some of the nation's poorest. In the lush mountains of eastern West Virginia, Woodlands Development Group relies on home for its smaller rural projects. Because it helps people with a wider range of incomes, home is one of the only programs available to us that allows us to develop true workforce housing, said Executive Director Dave Clark. It's those workers, nurses, first responders, teachers, that nonprofits like East Tennessee's Creative Compassion use home to build for. With the program in jeopardy, grant administrator Sarah Halcott said she fears for her clients battling rising housing costs. This is just another nail in the coffin for rural areas, Halcott said. That's a news blast for this hour. Again, you can find both parts of this video version of this news blast on the PEP Radio channel on YouTube. You can listen to PEP Radio on Roku, the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, and on Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.